Do you want to play Nintendo DS games on your Android device? Then this video is for you. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up and install a Nintendo DS emulator directly on your Android. Let's jump right into this. So for today's video, I'm using the Samsung Galaxy S9 tablet, just to keep that in mind. The first thing I'm going to do is open up our Play Store, and once our Play Store opens up, we're going to be searching for MelonDS, and we're going to be looking for this application here. This is a free Nintendo DS emulator that we can install. We're going to be clicking the install button and letting that install. Once this is installed, we're going to be backing out of here, and we're also going to be installing ZArchiver. I already have this installed, but it is a good application to have on your Android device regardless. We're going to be using this a bit later to extract our games, but it is something I'd recommend having on your Android device. Once you have all these applications downloaded, I have both of them on my home screen now. The first thing we're going to do is open up ZArchiver, and we're going to be talking a little bit about games. Now what I'm going to be doing is locating to where my games are downloaded. I currently have them on the SD card in my tablets, and I will mention I cannot show you in today's video where to download games. You will need to source and find your own games. A quick Google search will help you here if you want to download them. When you download your games, they will most likely come in a compressed format. However, by best practice, I always extract my games first. It is a little less CPU intensive if the game is already extracted. Once you have your games, what we need to do is extract one. I'm going to be using advanced words here in the example. I can click it. I can then click the extract here option, and it will extract the game out. Now, depending on the size of your game and your Android device, this can take a couple of seconds, but here you can see it's extracted out into a .NDS format, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're then going to be coming over to MelonDS, and we're going to be brought to this screen, and it's going to say no ROM search directory specified. What we can do here is click this red button, set ROM directory, and here we'll have to locate to where our ROMs are downloaded. So I currently have my games here in my SD card. I'm just going to be locating to this folder, and then I'm going to be clicking this option here, use this folder. It will then ask if you want to allow MelonDS to access your game files, click allow, and then it will slowly load through all of the game files in this folder. Now that we can see all my games are loaded here, as mentioned earlier, we have our .7zip and .NDS format games. I am more of a fan of just keeping my games in .NDS format, so they're the ones I'm going to be using mostly in this case. Now that we have all of our games loaded, we're first going to be running through a couple of settings. We're going to be clicking on the three dot menu on the top right, clicking on settings, and here we're going to be running through a few things. Underneath general settings, we don't need to do too much. If you want to change your theme, you can do that here. However, I would recommend taking a look at the rewind option here. It is something I'm going to be enabling, and this will basically allow you to go back in time in your games. I think it's a really cool feature, so that's the first thing I'm going to be checking on here. We're going to be backing out a bit more. In the save file options, this is something you do need to keep an eye on. Right now, by default, all of your save files will save directly to your ROM files, so they'll save directly inside your ROM folder. If you don't want this, you can uncheck this here to set a new folder. I'm going to be doing that now. I'm going to be clicking on Save File Directory. Here I'm going to be creating a new folder inside my ROM folder called Saves. Click Use this folder. Click Allow. And this will basically separate my save files from my ROM files, so I can easily back them up later. Going to be coming back out of here. We're going to be looking at the system options, and here I just wanted to point out the custom BIOS and firmware if you want to do that. And you want to make sure that JIT is enabled here. This will improve performance a lot in the simulator, so you want to make sure that's enabled. Clicking back on the top left. We're then going to be coming to the video option here, and by default your renderer will be set to software. However, I'd recommend changing it to OpenGL. It can give more performance. If OpenGL is giving you issues, feel free to come back in here and change it. We also have our internal resolution here, and we can actually scale this up to run at a higher resolution than a Nintendo DS. This is a really cool option, however, it can be quite heavy on your system. So depending on the Android device that you're running, you can experiment here with this a bit. I'm going to be setting mine to 4x, but depending on the spec of your phone or tablets, you might not be able to scale this up at all. Underneath filter, I'm going to be setting up to 2xBR. Depending on the type of game you're playing, some of these might look better than others. And of course, if you're on lower spec hardware, you can feel free to turn this off if you're having issues. I'm going to be enabling the FPS counter on the top left. You can turn that on or off if you would like. And finally, you can set up the camera source for a DSI if you want to set that up. Again, I'm going to be clicking back on the top left. And before we start talking about the inputs, I first just wanted to mention cheats here at the bottom. You can enable cheats in the simulator and import cheats from a database file if you have one. I'm not going to be deep diving in today's video. However, I did wanted to mention it. If you would like to see a dedicated video looking at cheats for this emulator, let me know in the comments down below. It's something I can take a look at in the future. From this point, we're going to be talking about the inputs. And for this emulator, there's two ways to control it. One is using an external controller, which we will set up in a couple of seconds. And the second is using the on-screen controls on your Android device. By default, we're going to be looking at the on-screen controls. The first thing we can do is enable or disable the vibrate on touch. And you can also look at the opacity of your on-screen buttons. Turning this up will make your buttons more visible. Turning this down will make them less visible. If we go into the layout options here, we will see default as our default, of course. However, we can click plus here on the top right. And here we can set up the layout that we want to use for our emulator. So by default, the blue screen is going to be your top Nintendo DS screen. The red screen is going to be your bottom screen. We have our L and R buttons here on the top left and the top right. Our up, down, left, right arrow here on the bottom left. our face buttons here, and some of our extra control buttons here on the top, and start and select here as well. Here you can select any cluster of buttons and feel free to move it around wherever you want, so you can get it in a comfortable position depending on the device you're using. And if you would like to move around or scale the screens, you can select one, scale it up. Just keep in mind they can overlap, so you need to be a bit careful here depending on what you're doing. And here you can go through and experiment and set up the screens however you want. If you would like to save this new layout, we can tap anywhere on the screen, click Menu, click Save and Exit. You can give your layout a name. I'm just going to be leaving it as My Layout. Click OK, and now you'll have two layouts here. Once your new layout is created, you will need to select it here, otherwise it will not select. And the three-dot menu on the right, we can edit and delete any menu that you want. Now, before we go too far out of here, I want to go back into the edit option, and I do want to point out the Add Component button here. We can set up a couple of extra things: the rewind, quick load, quick save, swap screens. These are a couple of additional things you can set up to add around your screen. So for example, this swap screen button, it will create this new button here that of course you can rechange the size, and you can leave it over here if you want to change the screens around at any point. It will flip them, so your bottom screen becomes top and top becomes bottom. These are really cool options to take a look at, and again, experiment depending on what your needs are. I also want to take a moment to say that this year we're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers on this channel. If you've gotten this far in today's video, please hit that subscribe button. It will help us a lot. Back to the video. Coming back out of here, if you do want to set up an external controller or input device, what we can do is come to the key mapping option here, and here we can go through and map each of our buttons. From this point, you can connect any external controller you want. I currently have an Xbox Series controller here. I'm going to be turning it on, and I'm going to be connecting it to my Android device. What we need to do is click any button here, the A button for example, click a button on our controller, and then it should map to that button. Now keep in mind the A and B are flipped on a Nintendo controller versus an Xbox controller. Here you can select whatever you want. You just need to keep that in mind. Here there are a couple of extra hotkey options. So if you want to set up the rewind or fast forward, you can also set those up here, for example on the triggers. And here you can go through and map all of your buttons. Once you're happy, you simply click back on the top left, and now your input mapping is set up. And now you have an external controller set up that you can use in games a little bit later. We're going to be backing out of here, and now we're going to be loading up a game. I'm going to be using Advanced Wars Dual Strike, and it will load up with the layout options that you have. One of the nice things, of course, about using an Android device is that it is also touchscreen, so you can actually use the touchscreen here, or if you flip your screens around, you can now use your big screen on top as well to go through and play your games. With the layout options, of course, if you're going to be using an external controller, you can hide all of your buttons or move them to one corner if you'd like to have them as backup. Again, here you can experiment with it a bit. And just like that, we have set up and we're now playing Nintendo DS games directly on our Android device. Now, if you would like to access the on-screen menu at any time, simply swipe back on the side of your device. It will open up this on-screen menu here. So if you would like to exit your game and go back to your overview, you can do that here, or access other menu items. Anyway guys, it's as easy as that to set up and play Nintendo DS games directly on your Android device. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're new, check out the other videos on the channel. Until next time guys, as always, keep it saucy. Peace.